Yeah, it's worked. We are live. Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to this thing we do on a Sunday, and welcome to George. Lovely to see you.
Hello.
So, for those that maybe don't follow George, this is what you can see over there. That George the reseller, who you are very active on social media, on Instagram and here on YouTube. So, do you want to do your own little intro? That might be fun. Do you want to explain to people? Yeah, go.
Yeah, I'm everywhere. I think that's probably like I'm on every platform essentially, apart from Facebook. I am on Facebook, but I don't I'm just a bit kind of like I'm not, if you message me on Facebook, I don't expect a message back anytime soon. But on Instagram, I'm pretty instant. So yeah, and I'm on TikTok as well, but it's all the same footage. I kind of like do the same video and I just kind of put it everywhere. I'm not, doing exclusive content.
Yeah, I'm kind of lazy like that. I'll do an Instagram video and then sometimes just chuck it on TikTok. I don't really understand TikTok, I'll be honest, or quite why I'm on there, but I'm on there.
Have you not done a TikTok dance yet?
No, nobody needs to see that.
We'll get Ellen to help you. She's graduated now.
Yeah. Oh, Ellen could choreograph me if she wants to, but
we should do a dance in the shed.
We shouldn't do a dance in the shed. Where is this going?
Do it.
Anyway, welcome everybody. We'll kick off our chat in a minute whilst people are joining us. I can see we've got almost 100 with us, so welcome. We'll say a few hellos and then we can begin in a minute. Chris was first in. Now, Chris shared on Instagram, speaking of Instagram, he found Mario 64 boxed, Banjo-Kazooie boxed, Banjo-Tooie, remember Banjo-Tooie?
Yeah.
And Donkey Kong 64, all boxed at a boot sale.
How much did you pay for it? It was quite cheap as well. Was it quite cheap?
I think he did say in a message. I think it was like £28 or something he paid. It wasn't a lot for what it is.
I had to take my jumper off because it's so warm. So Will's in. Hello, Will. Says, good evening, everybody. I think we all need this hour of sanity after the week the country has had. Well, can't promise you sanity, but
sanity. Have you watched my content?
Perhaps a distraction. Hello, Leanne, and Resell Anything is in. See Blaney.
Hi,
and Rebecca. Barbara the Alien, Claire B. Hello, Maggie and Porky, Peter Ray. And Lisa, it's Tommy, hello, and RJ. Right, and there's Sean. Hello, Sean. There's Ross, Donna, and Lainey and Craig. I could carry on. Carry on going.
A big hello.
And Fluffy Muffin. Hello. Oh, and That's Flipping Retro. Better say hello to That's Flipping Retro. And if you're not subscribed to That's Flipping Retro, what are you doing? You need to go over and subscribe to their YouTube channel because it's brilliant.
They're so much fun. Oh, just quickly, RJ's World had my best sale on a t-shirt, I assume. Paid £2, sold for £245. I need some big sales. I've missed those really juicy sales recently. I don't know about you, George, but I'm not getting the big ones.
Sorry.
I was just going to say I had my best day on eBay yesterday this year, and I sold a toy for £150. That was really nice. And then I sold a shirt for £80, literally 10 minutes later, and I was like, what is going on?
That's awesome. I need a few like that. Well, we
sold a butler's tray for £70.
70 within a day. Yeah, that was a nice sale. They have been thin on the ground. Nice home runs.
I was going to say, you're not finding much in charity shops, are you?
Don't start about the charity shop thing. Honestly.
Have I got this in the bag?
Yes. In a word.
You don't know what I've got though. You might pull something out. I mean, somebody had a really good idea. It's like Nick will just get like 10 DVDs for like £1 and then just get £20 worth of them and sell them for like £1.99 each and outprice us all.
Pretty much that was my thinking. Or like 20, 50p items and sell them all for a tenner. But I've struggled to even find that. haven't I? So we're thinking of going up to Norwich maybe during the week if we can find the time, and just blitzing it and going in as many shops as we can, and just whatever I find, because I've literally found like 3 or 4 things. I have sold 3 of them already though,
Yeah.
but it's been tough. If you quickly before we start, we are both George and I are in Tommy's charity shop challenge, and we've been paired against each other. And since that was announced, I've found naff all in charity shops. Really, it's been painful. So that's what's going on. Right.
Chris is asking, have you got all of Stall's box listed yet?
Pretty much everything that's going on eBay has been dealt with, and we've sold a lot of it. The rest of it's, I think some's going to end up on Whatnot and other places, but the good stuff has all been listed and most of it is sold. Right, you scrolling to the end.
Lex says, all the best folks are on tonight. And Chris B says, was that the Abbey Road t-shirt, RJ? What are they talking about? RJ sold a...
Yeah, I read it out, £250
right.
t-shirt. Yes, Chris.
That was that Paul McCartney one, wasn't it? So Paul McCartney one. It was a Beatles related.
Good to hear that Etsy's been on fire.
Right, you're at the bottom, yeah?
Nearly. Yes.
There's so much chat going on. Welcome, everybody. Right. So we thought when we were chatting about getting your good self on, we thought we would talk about social media because you've been incredibly active and you clearly enjoy it. And we wanted to talk about your experience with social media, and then social media as a overarching, is it a necessity for a reseller? What are the pluses? What are the negatives? And just have a good chat about it. So why? The first question, it sounds like a daft question, but why do you do social media? What was the impetus to make you start sharing?
I guess it was because I'm not a big kind of creator on any of the platforms. I'm pretty small in comparison to some other people, but I do quite a lot of stuff on social media, and I do a lot of content and stuff like that. But I genuinely started it off initially to learn, because one of the first thing that I did when I started reselling was to, like everybody, YouTube. That was kind of like the big thing, like, okay, reselling, let's put that in and everything. And who came up? It was you, but Ben Fitzpatrick came up, and then you came up, and then you and Z came up, and then it just kind of, no, that was like 7 years ago now. 7 or 8 years ago. So yeah, and then obviously like Instagram was like the next best thing to just go, because I thought, if people are reselling, they're going to put up what they've been buying and I can learn off them. And then I started putting up my own stuff, like, I bought XYZ, and it just kind of spiraled from there, really. And it's just kind of turned into a TikTok dancing monster machine, hasn't it? Really? Yeah. So and I do, to be honest, I do kind of like, I do silly stuff. Like I did like a silly skit the other day, and I want to try and lean into more of that, because I've got loads of ideas for silly little kind of like reseller related skits, because I think we get a bit too serious sometimes. And considering, like you said, somebody said, the week that we've had in the UK, I think we need a bit of silliness. So yeah, I do.
Definitely.
I think that'd be great as well, because it's a very crowded place now. Just our little reseller part of the internet, isn't it? There's an awful lot of people putting an awful lot of content, and if you can distinguish yourself and make yourself stand out in any way possible, I think it's a positive. I love what Ricky's doing. I don't know if you follow his channel, but he's putting a lot of twists in it and being very creative, and yeah.
So I'm not very good at editing at all. I'm just kind of like literally basic chop and paste, and then do a little bit of music over the top, and maybe a few words. I'm not that kind of skilled. Like, he does very quick editing and very kind of sharp edit. I'm just like, I like watching that kind of stuff. I just can't do it. I'm very kind of like, I'd rather have a nice chilled in the background, kind of like a smooth guitar playing in the background while I'm walking around.
I'm even less. When it comes to Instagram, it's just literally record me talking and put it up. I do nothing more. I don't have the time to give.
You've adopted this strange sort of twist thing that you do before you start.
I like that. I like that though. It's kind of like, it's Nick. Like when you just see the rafters, and then I'm like, right.
It's weird as well, because once you do that a couple of times, it's kind of your thing, and it's like, I can't stop doing that now.
Yeah. You get pigeonholed a little bit, and it's like, oh, and if you stop, people are like, why are you not doing that? Why are you not doing the thing?
Oh,
Because I did like the reseller news things, like little clips of like news articles that I've found on like Google, and I haven't stopped doing it, but like I haven't done one in a while. And someone said, "What, are you not doing them anymore? You're not doing this?" I was like, "Well, Google's right there. You can read it yourself." But
Yeah, I quite enjoyed them. Well, you stole the what do you call it? Teleporting from Lex.
To be fair, I didn't know Lex was doing it, but then when I discovered Lex was doing it way before I was like, oh, there's no original ideas out there anymore. So I just carried on regardless.
Everyone borrows from everybody. It's
exactly that. So what's the main positive? I mean, you explained kind of why you got into it and sharing. So now you've been sharing consistently for quite a long time. What's the main positive that you get out of it? What keeps you doing it?
The wholesome answer is community, but the selfish answer is habit. I know it sounds kind of a bit ridiculous. You do kind of get into a habit of like putting stuff up, or just when you're in a shop or something, or on wherever, and you see something, you take a picture and you put it up. And a lot for me, when I first started doing the lives, it's about accountability, because I'm really lazy and I need a kick up the bum to get things done, kind of thing. And I need kind of like the pressure for me to actually start, actually get into work. And so doing the lives, it's like, oh, there's a group of resellers who are watching me and they're telling me to work, or they can see that I'm working, I'm actually doing something. So yeah, I try and do as much as I can in a live, but if you've been in my life, I'm more than anything.
I did try kind of working hangouts, as they were loosely called way back in the day, and I got no work done. So they were pointless for me. So I've kind of, I do use social media to keep myself accountable, and I say it out loud in videos now. I'm grabbing all this. I did it again recently. I'm grabbing all this stuff that I am actively avoiding dealing with. I'm showing X amount of however many people are going to watch the video, and now I have to list it, because otherwise, I've failed to live up to what I've said. So I use it for that a lot, actually.
Yeah, and it's like you do kind of force yourself to do things. And I find if you promise something online, if you say like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do this, people will say, they will hold you accountable. They say, I thought you were doing this. And if you say like, okay, I'm going to do women's clothing on Monday, and then Monday comes and you've taken a picture in Tesco, and they'll be like, oh, I thought you were doing women's clothing. They do kind of hold you a bit accountable. And so it's like, oh, I really should be doing what I'm saying.
People will go into my store and say, Nick, you didn't list that DVD player or whatever it was. What happened? It's like, oh my God, I've got no secrets.
Someone's just said there's a really big cup. It's a faux. It's not a real Stanley cup. It's just a faux tea. It's like a Timu mug. They were like, that cup is huge.
Chris asks, has Nick seen George rub his Buddha?
That sounds really dodgy.
Oh, I don't know how this started. I basically have this on my shelf. It's like just a thing. And someone said, oh, if you rub it for good luck. And then for some reason, it's just taken off. But since I've started doing my live, someone said, rub the Buddha for good luck. And it does work. It does work. So you rub the Buddha for good luck.
If you get into something like that, you cannot now stop, because you've convinced yourself that your sales are connected to that figurine. So
that's kind of it. And whenever I'm on live, some people say like, oh, rub the Buddha for us because the sales are slow. I'm like, okay. But it does work, and it's become a bit of a motto. So, every little helps.
Stephen says it feels to me like working with someone when George is doing his live listings.
Yeah, because we are kind of like doing this alone. I mean, obviously you guys aren't. You've got each other to kind of like bounce off during the day and everything. Like I'm in my garage all alone. I'm talking to myself, doing stupid skits. So it is nice to kind of like have like conversations with people as well.
Exactly, and I think that is still the main positive for me. I know you said very flippantly the community thing, but in a very kind of selfish way, it is community for me. It gives me people to bounce off gives me people that I have several private chats where I can just talk about the frustrating side of what we do, the stress of what we do sometimes. And I never had that. Remember, for years, like half of the time we've been reselling, we didn't have any social media. And it was a very lonely pursuit.
Yeah.
And I know we do have each other.
We just drove each other mad.
Yeah, we just drove each other insane, moaning about work all the time, right? Now I can moan at other people, which is great. Yeah, it certainly gives me that. So with that in mind, those are the positives. What are the negatives? Are there any negatives of putting yourself out there all the time?
Yeah, putting yourself out there. I think that's one of them. Like, you are opened up. Like, I think if you put any sort of social media stuff out, whether it's personal or business or, like reselling related, you are bound to get a difference of opinion. Let's just put it that way. You are going to get a difference. But so some people say, oh well, or if you there was something a couple of years ago, people were like comparing what things go off on eBay, and it's like, well, we put the comps and we try and find the best comp to prove that it can sell a certain amount and can sell for a certain amount. It doesn't necessarily mean it will sell for that, because we can take offers, we do coupons. There's so many different ways that we could sell, but like some people didn't quite understand like that was what we were doing. I can't remember who was it. I don't know if it was Car Boot Chris. Someone basically tried to have a go and say, like, that doesn't sell for that, it sold for X amount, and Chris was like, yeah, that's because that was an auction, it wasn't a buy it now. And he was trying to be the nicest possible without saying you idiot, like, because we're from the same area, so I knew kind of what he was saying without saying. But yeah, it's I think it's like most things online. I think everyone's got an opinion, everyone's got a phone, and everyone has, I don't know, I think we've gone past the point of no return when it comes to, I'm going to voice my opinion online, and they will do it, and they might forget about what they've said the next day. So I don't take it personally unless it's directed at me personally, and then I'm like, oh, well, that's not nice, which I do get every now and again. Which is what happened. It's happened a couple of times before. Like last year, it happened a few times before. I didn't get targeted by like a group of people. It was just like the odd comments, the odd weird comments, and it started on my YouTube, and then it moved over onto Instagram, and I was like, I'm not too sure about these people, about this, and I was like, and then it kind of got a bit heated, and it got a bit kind of like they were sending kind of weird messages over, and I was just like, okay, can you stop now? It's kind of peeing me off. And yeah, they were like, oh, well, I know where you live, I found your eBay store, I know where you live. And I was like, okay, thank you, bye, blocked. And then I started thinking, oh, he knows where I live. It's like, so I moved everything off my store, and I was just like, right, I'm closing it down, it's not worth the hassle. And yeah, I've started putting stuff back on it, but yeah, you do get the odd kind of just weirdo. You just get them, unfortunately. And I think because I don't know, I think because I'm on social media a lot, I do kind of voice my opinion a bit more, and I'm not really afraid. I'm not really bothered about, I don't go out my way to hurt other people's feelings, but I will just put my opinion across. I'll just say, there you go, that's fine. Put my opinion across. And yeah, I don't think I think they see it as like, oh, he's fair game. They see like, oh, he's fair game, he's out there, he's putting his opinion across. That's a green flag for us to be as vile as we can. And I do get that occasionally. But yeah, this year has been very kind of like weird.
It's true. I mean, it does annoy me sometimes when people say, because we're putting ourselves out there, you have to accept that you're a target, right? It's like, well, why should we accept that?
Right.
But you're totally right. People are so flippant with their opinions. And I get picked up in all sorts of weird things, right? People pick up on the strangest things and have a go at me. And it's like, really? That's what you took from this video?
Yeah, and quite often it's not even true or factually accurate.
Yeah, it is very odd. I found it really tough. I've been very open. In the first few years, I found it really tough. Also, there were very few reseller channels, so we got all of the heat, if there was any, about sharing.
Sahir and Beck and Caroline.
And I found it real hard work to, not take it personally.
Yeah, we went through a really difficult few weeks or couple of months, I think,
Yeah.
of an onslaught of very nasty,
Because
nasty stuff.
in my opinion, getting involved and making it a two-way conversation is the worst thing you can do. And I just don't enjoy it at all. But back then, I felt the need to defend my position, and I'm allowed to
defend our friends as well who were getting.
Yeah, and it just escalated it to a whole new level because I was responding. But yeah, I mean, touch wood, we just ignore and move on these days, don't we?
I mean, there have been a couple of incidents where, it's kind of flawed us, so we've had to take a step back.
Yeah.
But luckily not too many of those.
Yeah.
Just need to catch your breath for a little bit and take a break.
Exactly. But yeah. I was going to ask, we'll move away from the potential trolling because we don't want to give them too much airtime, really. Anyway, has sharing actually benefited your business? Do you think it helps beyond just learning hints and tips from other people, which is kind of what we all take for it? Personally, has it helped you sharing?
What business-wise has it helped me?
Yeah, business or personal life, either.
Yeah, I think so. I think business. I remember I used to watch Reseller Ladies, because I knew nothing about women's clothing, not really. I knew the odd bits, but I wasn't really. And I picked up so many new brands that it was like when I went out and I was like, oh my god, it's what they said on there. That was like my first proper kind of like, oh, I'm actually learning quite a lot. So I always used to like kind of like go into the live and everything. And yeah, I don't know. I think just advice-wise, just be a sponge. Just watch as much content as you can. And yeah, they will say like, oh, I bought like this. I didn't know anything about that kind of Revitalize thing, or I don't even know what it's called. But yeah, I can't remember whose channel it was, but I heard it off somebody else's channel and it's just stuck in my brain. And then this morning I saw it.
Oh, is that the thing you were showing me, the thing you stand on?
Yeah.
Let's share that because it's quite an interesting item.
It's was it a Revitive? Ian Botham promotes it on those weird adverts on like TV Gold. Right. But yeah, he's it's one of those things that you step on it and everything, and it sends pulses through your muscles. It's to help circulation, for like old people, which I guess I'm kind of approaching, so I might keep it.
But it's maybe £100 plus. You can't keep that one, surely.
Nah, that's true.
Get it going out the door.
Get it going.
Did you want to highlight?
Yeah, so I don't know. It just sticks in your brain what other people say a lot of the time. Not all the time, obviously, but like you do get things like pop into your head, and you think, "Oh my god, that's that thing," and then you pick it like flat Eric. I never knew what a flat Eric was, and then I found it in a box, and I was like, "What?" I remember that. It's just weirdness.
I haven't found one of them for years.
No, haven't we?
Go on. What are you going to
say? I was going to say, I think that with sort of modern online business, I think it's almost essential really to have social media, in my personal opinion, because it helps you to, personally reach out to your customer, and it puts a face to your business as well, which I think because it makes it more personable, then people feel more confident to shop with you. And yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, I was going to ask you actually, how has it benefited you guys? Because I know that you've always put your eBay store in the description, and it's not like you've gone on like, oh, remember our eBay? You haven't been promoted. It's just like it's just there if you want it, kind of thing, and it's just like people can look and it's there. And is it sympathetic? Is it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because you say you've always done it. I didn't, and I made a point of not sharing it for a long time. I was a bit wary of doing it, and I didn't want my YouTube to be an advert for our business. And then, I don't know, 3 or 4 years in, I discovered we had thousands of followers on our eBay store because they'd gone and found it anyway, because I'd share a widget and then they'd go and find that widget and work out it was my store. And I figured out if somebody really wanted to find us, they're doing it anyway. And from that point, I started sharing, and it kind of gradually grew from there that people would go through and buy from our store and leave us a message, and I'd read it out on a video. And then people would start messaging us through Instagram because they'd seen something in Andrew's haul, and they'd just say, oh, I saw that jug. I'll give you 20 quid for the jug or whatever it is. And you go, fine, yeah. And it's now developed to a point where it's a significant part of our business goes to viewers. And we've never really pushed it, but sharing our store was the first little step that made it easy and convenient for people to do it.
It's been a nice happenstance, not something that we've actively sought out.
No, and I still forget to say our store is linked below. I always forget at the end of a video when I'm editing, I didn't say it again.
Steve, I know. It actually annoys me when a YouTuber doesn't link their store.
Oh, sorry, because I don't link my store. I've never have. And I've kind of thinking like, I've got my, I'm moving everything onto this specific store now. And I'm like, should I just open up now and just say, sod it, let's just put everything so that everybody, because I don't know, I think it's become a lot harder on eBay this past year. I mean, for me personally, it's become, I've just found it's been very, I don't know if it's cost of living crisis, but it's been very kind of like, it's a bit difficult. And I was like, oh, well, maybe if I opened up to the viewers and everything and whoever watches, they might see something that they want. And it's just like a potential another set of eyes, isn't it? Like they might see something they want.
And I think we're past the point where there's kind of some sort of weird shame in self-promotion, and there's some weirdness around it. Social media is so accepted now, and people genuinely want to support creators that they enjoy watching, which still amazes me, but people want to support what you're doing if they enjoy your content and they get something out of it. So I would say,
we feel the same about creators that we watch, or
we love to support other creators, so we get the impulse and we understand it. And the other thing is, you've got nothing to lose really. If the link's there, even if people just want to go and be nosy and have a look, it's fine, right? They don't have to buy from you. But as Phil says, he actively looks for links to YouTubers' channels, stores.
I think Tom's point there, he's just put I think I had weirdos turn up at my place in the early days. Well, that I've actually had somebody turn up in the middle of the night, like throughout the night, playing like knock a door run, and I like, if it was just me by myself, I don't care, but I'm living with a vulnerable adult, a pensioner, and my mum, so it's like I can't put them through the weirdos. I've got to be kind of careful.
I noticed in the chat people were talking about the fact that we have to have our business address, and if you work from home, that is then public. That somebody mentioned a way around it, using an accountant's address if you're a limited company. Not all of us are a limited company, so that can be an issue. We personally have never had a problem with that. I'm not saying it's for everybody being public about your eBay store, but if you're sharing your pickups, people will find your eBay store. So if someone's committed, they find it anyway. That's the reality, fortunately or unfortunately. And like I said, I had no idea people were finding our store, and we now have literally, I don't know how many, 10,000 people following our store, something lunatic. It's madness.
We realized it was going to happen anyway, whatever. So
if someone was determined to find out find your eBay store and therefore potentially your address, they will. It's an interesting conversation to have.
I think another way, if you don't want to share your store, another way of doing it is, when you do your videos and you're showing your haul, you just say, well, I've got an email address in my description box. So if you're interested in anything you've seen, then,
or Instagram me. That's what I've said.
DM me or send me an email.
Well, I think Carla does it very well. Carla does sell a lot of stuff to viewers, and she does most of it through email. I believe she says on my emails below, and that works perfectly. Let's read out a few comments while we're at this point. Blimey, there's lots of comments. What's Tommy saying there? I'm only where I am today because of other resellers like yourself sharing your own journeys, experiences, and pickups. Even if a video isn't trying to teach you something, you can always learn from it.
Just by sharing experience, I think. Definitely.
What's this from Chris? Hi folks, I got a how rude when I told a potential buyer to read the description when he inquired about information that was already in my listing.
I got that today.
The
Yeah, on a Vinted, it was just a top, and they wanted to know the measurements, and I was like, check the description. And he was like, I've already done that; it's not there. And I checked, it was there. You just had to scroll down.
Yeah.
People.
I think also like on the app on YouTube, you have to actually actively click to read the description. And a lot of people don't realize that. They scroll up and down, don't see the description at all.
Tommy avoided sharing my store, especially at the start. I wasn't proud of or confident of my store or listings.
Aww.
Since my confidence has grown with reselling as a whole, I'm happy to share. Interesting. I changed my YouTube name to my eBay store. Interesting. George, hello. We were saying earlier, there's so many Georges about. George is in. I use all my videos for promotion of my business, YouTube, eBay, Instagram, all work together very nicely. Well, there you go. Just embracing it, Georges. Yeah.
I know that I do a lot on Depop, and I've got 2 stores on Depop. You're not meant to, but I have 2 stores, and they are working very closely with TikTok at the moment. And yeah, so I do have a dedicated Instagram and TikTok to my Depop store, and it's not getting a lot. It's not thousands of viewers, but or subscribers, but it does have a couple hundred, and it links to my Depop store, so it does kind of feed into each other quite nicely. Like I'll do like one of the, like on a music trend, I'll do like a mannequin challenge, and I'll just throw a load of clothes at the mannequin, and it'll just appear, like that kind of cheesy stuff, and then like a link to those clothing links on my Depop. But yeah, they like that. Depop like sharing stuff. They're very kind of like big on social media.
Well, didn't the reselling platform, was it the one that disappeared? Which was that, Poshmark? That was all about sharing, wasn't it, and creating a following, and they actively promoted or pushed you further if you shared more or something. I can't remember how it worked, but it's interesting that one failed, oddly enough. But
yeah, and then there's a new one called Nachi, which is for sort of vintage homeware and that sort of thing, and that's the same. It's about, you know, sharing other people's contents to sort of push yourself up.
Nachi, that's an awful name. Is it just me? Nachi. Sounds a bit weird.
I've got a bad case of the Nachis now.
Yeah, it sounds like a condition. Yeah. What's your opinion? There used to be, particularly in the early days of us sharing reselling on eBay and how we choose to earn our living, we would get a lot of abuse, frankly, about sharing because we were ruining it for everybody else. Do you remember those days?
I remember the really good one was it the supermarket one with all the tape? And you cleared them out, and the amount of abuse you got, well, not abuse, but it's just like, why are you doing that? Other people need them. It's like, it's there if you want them.
Some of the things,
the bad stuff isn't on there because we have a pretty active filter. There was a lot of abuse, like proper abuse, but it all got filtered out.
That's insane. It's tape.
But I mean, funnily enough, that debate, I call it a debate, it's daft really, but that we're ruining it for everybody, still rears its head every now and again. What's your stance on that, or do you take any of that seriously?
Well, I think there's one that's really okay. I know you. Facebook groups are a very toxic place. I feel that's why I don't kind of go into them as much. But there's a really funny one with charity shop managers. It's kind of notorious now. And it's charity shop managers all giving it that. And it's like, it's so funny. And they do name quite a few of us, quite a few of the reseller YouTubers.
Really?
And it's, yeah, and they're not vicious with it, but they're very, there is on a couple of things, I won't say who, but like there's a couple of people who they're very vicious at. And it's like, there's no need, because it goes on to personal appearance. It's like, don't drop. You're meant to work in a charity shop. You're meant to be nice. No. But yeah, they do say like, oh, these resellers, they ruin it for everybody. it's like, how really?
But surely they know we're bringing a lot of revenue to their door as well. Surely.
And if it's a really good charity shop, particularly if it's a small independent one, usually it's the chain ones that they have issues with. the small independent ones I love. One, because it's like an Aladdin's cave and there's everywhere and you can have a proper route and it's like a real charity shop that used to be. But also the people and they price things right. But also they welcome all the publicity. If you name it, people will go and see it. I think there's a couple of I don't know, influencers. There's a couple of reseller influencers that went into funnily enough in Stoke-on-Trent, where Tom's question is, and they named one of the charity shops, and it has been inundated since, and loads of people go there now. Loads of people. Every time I go, it's always busy, and yet there was a time when I was the only person in there for like an hour, 2 hours at a time, and now it's like it's filled with people, and it's great. It's great. It's a little hospice charity. It's brilliant.
If only they could see that it was actually a positive thing.
Yeah, that's it. And it is, I think.
So,
I think it's just
what do you think about sourcing in Stoke-on-Trent?
Well, it's a city of 5 towns. Those 5 towns were not made equally. Hanley is atrocious. It used to be very good. It's not anymore. That's the main town. And there's lots of like little like high streets with like the occasional charity shop on it, and it's very kind of spread out. There used to be a lot of charity shops in Stoke-on-Trent as a whole. There used to be, I think it was upwards of about 30 or 40. And they're spread out all over the city. But now they've all whittled down a little bit, and I don't know. There's a Longton that had a lot of charity shops, but I don't know why, they've just gotten very expensive for where they are. It's a very deprived area, and it's, for some reason, they're selling Ralph Lauren polo shirts for £20, and it's like, and it has a hole in. Sorry, that was my grab the other week. I was like, does it come free with this hole? You know, So I don't know. The one thing I do like about Stoke-on-Trent, because it's the Potteries, you do get the quality of homeware is actually really good. I find lots of Emma Ridgewater, well, not lots. I find Emma Ridgewater. And I find, your Royal Daltons, your Wade, Wedgwood. My knowledge of the brands and everything and what sells is really kind of notched up a gear. So when I'm down in Devon, which I was the other month, I ended up finding some great stuff, and I was like, they didn't know what it was, because I don't know, it's knowledge that you gain from where you are. So yeah. It's all right. It's all right if you want a good route. You need to have the stamina, because you won't find much. But when you do, it's a banger. That's all I can say.
Excellent.
Did you want to read?
Yeah, I was just going to say. Stoll was saying, well, I still get told off by the girl I go jumbling with whenever I post to Instagram. But Etsy tells me that my social media generates 20% of my sales.
That's good,
isn't it?
Oh, so linking through from in-store, I assume. Interesting. Yeah, I wish I knew the numbers of our sales that are generated somehow through social media. Yeah. I mean, when we get a message on an order and they want us to read it out or show it in a picking orders video, it's obvious, but we don't. If they're not messaging us, we don't know.
No.
So it's kind of a guess what percentage of our sales come directly from sharing.
It's strange, because when you do like on your YouTube analytics, you can see how much audience gets pulled in by outside links, but you can't see the opposite, how much the links go to.
Yeah.
They haven't put that out yet, have they?
Yeah, I'd love to know. Interesting.
That would be. Thrifting Bean says people will always find something or someone to complain about. Chuck them a smile and carry on.
It's so true. People love to just pick you up on silly little things and think nothing of telling what is basically a complete stranger, something mildly offensive about themselves. It's like, why?
I got the funny. I don't want to dwell on like the negative, but I got it was. They basically they threw me quite a vicious abuse and called me a few names, and I was just like, nothing I haven't heard before. I've got that thick skin now. If I've been through the mill, I don't get bothered by it. But then they threw a message at me saying, your SKU system SHIT. And I went, right. It's like, you can have a go at me, but you're not having a go at my business.
It's so funny because we get all sorts of comments, and most you can literally laugh it off and move on.
Yeah.
It's just that last comment said. But sometimes the little trigger points for me are weird. That one where I was accused of stealing the books at the boot sale really got under my skin because it was questioning my moral compass somehow. And I felt the need. And I'm so glad I made a response video because it did fantastically well as well. I turned a negative into a video that did, I don't know, 20,000 views or something. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's odd, but the little things that do actually trigger.
I think I get more upset by the comments that, you know, are personal about you than anything else.
Well, when people have a go at me. Yeah, it's odd.
My defense mechanism comes in. Yeah. What is your next question?
I don't know. We've kind of sped through most of it.
Oh, haven't we? Mind you, it is 20 to 9. It's
really?
We're getting on.
Oh, okay. Well, this is kind of a general one, really, and I'm not sure what I would advise people. Would you advise people to share what they do? Generally, is it a positive, net positive?
Yeah, if they want to, if that brings them joy, and if it kind of, you know, I mean, I put up everything. I put up what I sold and what I bought, but then in between that, I put up a stupid kind of like post about a barista getting my coffee wrong, and I was like, oh my god, am I that person that cares about coffee? So it's, I've got self-awareness by the inertia of it, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think if it brings you joy and if you enjoy it, then just go for it. Just do. I would. And plus, you never know who you will connect with. You might find somebody who, you know, will collect the same kind of like toys, or, you know, or said, oh, I found that last week, and then you'll get talking about something. And yeah, I would. And plus, it's a nice in between, because we work here in our little space, and then occasionally there's meetups and there's socials and there's events, but in the meantime, that's like a nice bridge. The digital is a nice bridge towards that, and it's people who are quite introverted, which I'm sure there's a lot of us out there. Probably it's a nice way, yeah. It's a nice way to be a part of the community without face-to-face kind of the nerves, kind of, you know.
Yeah. No, I like the way you put that social media is a bridge between us being alone in our garage and actually meeting up. And I've seen you put out videos where you're outsourcing with people, you know, reselling, Polly or Sam, as we've known in the past, and others. And I guess you've made some genuine real life friends from this now as well.
I mean, it's only happened in like last, I think it was last summer. I just thought, oh, sorry, I'm going to go to all these different events, because I was very kind of like, this is my world. This is I'm a lone wolf, kind of like, this is it. I'm happy being by myself and having people digitally like there. And then it was like, no, you know what? I'm going to actually put myself out there a bit more. I went to the eBay Open. I went to the Poshmark event in Manchester, RIP. And I went to what was the other things that I went to? I've been to loads of different places, and I've met up with lots of different resellers. I went to Milton Keynes the other week. I met up with Ross and Amy and everyone. So yeah, that was really nice. Went outsourcing with them, and yeah, it was just good. Do talk shop and be with like-minded folk.
Yeah, it does sound cheesy when we all say it, but it constantly amazes me, that side of it. All of that's come from my weird decision to start talking to people on the internet like 10 years ago. Yeah.
It is when you tell people who aren't a part of it, they're like, you talk to people on the internet about tat. And it's like, yeah, it's like we do. It's great.
In the early days, a year or two in, when Tom came down to stay, and Ellen, our daughter, who was very young then, it's like, who's this strange man coming to stay, Daddy? Oh, it's just a bloke I chat to on the internet. How weird is that?
I really sort of took a step back and thought about it. Yeah, we're inviting somebody that we don't know, never met.
And then I was off up to stay with Tom's. You know, I don't really.
But obviously, it was fine.
It was fine. Then we had Zahir come and stay as well. and then the meetups started happening, and then it just starts to seem very normal in our world, right?
Yeah.
But it is a little bit odd.
It is, because we have daily chats with people, and we feel like, we are real, true life friends. It's not just something that's superficial because it's online. We might not have met in person, but we're actually real friends.
A massive chunk of our social life is now digital, as in, WhatsApp groups and messenger groups and this sort of thing. It's a huge part of our social life now, which just didn't exist before.
Yeah.
So it's been incredibly important to us.
I think I remember there was a gamer, and he was I think it was when they were like teenagers. They met online and they started playing like games and stuff. And there was like a little core group. I think one of them had cancer in the 20s, and none of them had ever met. Then they all went over to America after his operation. And I watched a TikTok and I was in floods. I was just like, oh my God, it's so good. That's one of the benefits of the internet. It's not just like, all the nasty stuff that you hear and all the, the business stuff that we do and everything. It is, you can change your life through it if you, do the right thing and meet the right people. And just be aware, but just don't be too guarded, but just be aware. I think that's the advice I can give. Be open, but aware. Yeah,
well said. Yeah, it definitely opens doors. And it opens surprising doors that you never imagined were even there in the first place. What have we got in the chat? Did you want to read Jake?
Yeah, Jake's got a question for George. Do you play video games or buy and sell them?
Yes. I don't play as much as I used to. I've got a lot of, I sell lots of video games, but I'm never up early enough. When I see loads of people saying like, oh, I've found loads of boxed N64 games and or like Switch games, I'm not up early enough to get these deals. I'm lazy. This is why I like the idea of a 1 p.m. car boot.
Oh yes.
I can't believe that.
Why does it be so early?
Don't get her started on this topic. Won't get off it. Yeah.
Afternoon car, even 10 o'clock would be nice.
Yeah.
But where
I used to live, there was one at 10 o'clock and it was brilliant.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand why they have to be. There was the one that I go to. I didn't know this. I thought it opened at 5, but it actually opened at 4, and I had no idea until like literally the other week, like a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, oh my God, it's crazy. People actually get here for like 3 o'clock, set up, go to sleep, and then wake up at like 4 o'clock. It's madness. No, afternoon car boots all the way for me.
What else have we got in the chat? What's Tom Lincoln? I don't know what.
Oh, there's a debate whether it was a Trivial Pursuit board or a Monopoly board.
Oh, it was a Monopoly board, the video I put out.
That's what everyone's saying to Tom.
Yeah.
He thought he remembered it as a Trivial Pursuit board.
Tommy's saying, same here. When you can be quite busy day in, day out, I found it hard at times to get out and socialize. Being able to connect online stops you feeling alone. Yeah, no, I agree.
And if you put something up on Instagram, I find a lot more. Somebody, like if you say, oh, I'm having a rubbish day, and I feel like someone will message you. If you put it out there, someone will message you and say, oh, you're right. Do you want to do something, or, go somewhere, or, the people are genuinely nice. I think you've got to remember that this is a nice community. It is 99% of us. It is a genuinely nice community.
Yeah, the few times when people have really needed help, seeing the community come together has been mind blowing. Yeah, and we've been involved in a few of those sort of things, and it's that's reassuring when that happens. It reassures your belief in human nature sometimes. Yeah. That's Ross, isn't it? There.
Yeah.
Through Poshmark and Reselling, I met amazing friends who I talk to daily online and help me through mental low points. The internet can be very positive to just as much good. Exactly. Yeah. And like George was saying, I think you do have to approach sharing open cautiously. I think that's how you put it, and I think that's the way to be. But don't let it put you off, knowing that can be negative things. But for us, certainly, overall, it's been a massive positive, making the decision to share.
Yeah, definitely.
Shopping with torches. Yeah, I've done that though. Been at boot sales with a torch.
Yeah. Well, we actually sold at one, didn't we? Set up in the dark.
Yeah.
It's a bit mad.
Yeah, setting up in the dark. Yeah, it's lunacy, really. Tom, there's an afternoon car boot on Sundays near me that starts after lunch. That's ideal, right?
Yeah.
Go out and have a fry-ups or Sunday lunch and then go boot sailing.
Wow. Oh, ideal Sunday.
The dream.
Bliss.
I agree, Andrew. I don't understand why car boots have to be so early. It's often on fields, not used for anything else. Yeah, don't have to start at 4 a.m. exactly, pushing it.
But my theory is that they all used to start around maybe 8, 9 o'clock. But then because people turn up early and turn up early and turn up early, it's just got pushed earlier and earlier and earlier. And that starts in the middle of the night. It's like, why don't you
These resellers ruining car boots? How dare they?
Why don't you just start it in the evening?
It is. It's the dealers who get there half an hour before whatever the listed time is. Yeah. Sandra says, I enjoy George's vlogs. They include his mum, dad, and Buster the dog.
Yeah, I won't tell mum and dad that. I don't want to give them a complex or an ego boost.
Do they enjoy that side of it? Do they enjoy appearing on the videos and stuff?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do. Yeah, they do. I mean, I've got like a running joke in my vlogs where I keep filming my mum eating, and she hates it. Every time she puts the food in my mouth, I was like, "Got ya," like that, and it's just become a running joke. And my dad just eats it up. So he's more of a diva than I am. But yeah, my dog loves it as well. I actually set up his own Instagram at one point. And I haven't put anything up there in ages. It was like the Daily Jeff, but like very not as he's very good at it. He's very good at like posing, I must say. Jeff is very good at posing.
Yeah.
Buster's just like
he's also very good at posting on his little iPhone.
Yeah, so clever.
Incredibly good. I wish I'd not called that the Daily Jeff though, because I can't keep anything daily. It's more like once a week these days.
You refer to it as the Jeffstagram.
The Jeffstagram, yeah. He loves it. There's a question. Tommy's come in with a question. What's been your biggest lesson learnt in your reselling journey so far?
Well, that's a good question.
Wow, that's a big one.
That's a big one. Anything sells.
Oh,
I feel like anything sells. You've just got to, put the think in knowing what sells. No, but I do think the majority of stuff does sell. Like the weirdest stuff sell. I sold an artist's seat the other day. The same day I sold a Furby. It's just weird combination. Anything can sell.
Yeah.
There's a buyer out there for everything.
What would you say? Would you have an answer to that question?
Oh gosh.
Biggest lesson learned.
I didn't really engage my brain in it.
In the whole 20 years. Yeah, I don't know. That's a big question. Biggest lesson learned.
That everything evolves. That you just adapt and change through things.
Yeah.
Things change year on year in terms of trends and what people are looking for, what they want, and you just got to go with it.
Yeah, don't stay still.
Yeah, don't stay still. Don't give up.
Yeah, there you go.
Keep moving.
What should you say?
Keep moving, or else you will need a revive.
Stephen says, I'm so surprised that someone like George hasn't been contacted by a TV company to front a reselling show.
Are you mad? I'll drop the F-bomb every 5 minutes. I'm doing well, not swearing. I'm self-editing here, Stephen. Bloody hell.
You and Cheryl, imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Cheryl did.
She's in another league. She's in another league.
And she was with a very ill, grumpy child. How she didn't let it all come out.
Look, what Tom said, we've talked about this before. I think this is a brilliant idea. I talked about this with Shelley. I said we should definitely have like a car boot festival where you have like sort of bands playing and music and food and
really good.
And when there's like people selling stuff. Just be awesome, that would.
We'll make it happen then. Go for
Yeah,
it.
maybe we should.
Find a venue.
Yeah.
Well, come to the end of my
Kath
questions.
says, Andrea's lesson learned is that jugs are ace. Yeah. Stephen says, I've learned that quirky is a better seller than many named brands.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's keywords, mate.
Don't just buy, you have to actually list it in order to
That's
sell.
what Cheryl said last week. She said that she can't. She sees stuff that she wants, and that's like one of the big downfalls because she always sees things that she wants to keep. And I'm a bit similar. I can't help. Sometimes, I mean, I can't help myself sometimes. I've got like a shelf where I'm like, oh, I'll just put it on there, and I do sell stuff.
Is that your shelf behind you then? Is that whole bookcase full of keeping stuff?
Well, no, I mean, I've literally put stuff up there because I just thought, oh, I'll deal with you later, kind of thing. Like I've got a Yoda and I've got a Gizmo and an ET and everything. But now it's kind of come to the point where it's like, okay, I do actually need to start selling stuff. I can't keep keeping it because I do have a lot of books. I need to get rid of loads of books. I'm collecting Stephen King, you see, but I'm collecting the hardback ones.
Oh,
I kind
nice.
of want to try and get as many as possible. But
Well, they're quite a be on the lookout kind of item, aren't they? Particularly the early issues hardback. They can be amazing value.
Did you have one? What did you have?
I've sold a few over the years. I can't remember what I've bought and sold, but yeah, Stephen King stuff's well collected.
I don't know which one that I've got. I don't know what the oldest one I've got, but it's from the 80s. It's not like really, really old, but yeah, Stephen King books. The one that he does under his pseudonym, is it Richard Buchanan, I think? Or the Firestar. Oh no, there's one where it's there's a short story in it about it's about a school shooting, and he's said that he's not publishing it ever again. So that one in that book has become really popular because he said he's after Columbine, he was like, I'm not publishing it anymore, and he's pulled it. So now you've got to find that. It's like hundreds of pounds now. It's ridiculous, but
Wow.
yeah.
Will says you could call it Glaston Boot, and he goes a bit further and says Glaston Booty.
Yeah, I like that.
You might get sued by Mr. Evis.
or Bootstock.
Bootstock. Oh, see, that's got a double meaning as well. Stock.
I like that. That's a good one. Yes.
Oh, there you go, Richard
Bachman, that's it. I knew it was something like that.
Right. So were you going to ask George about plans for the future, or have you already done that today?
Yeah, just a general one. Where are you going to take your business? Are you happy, with a garage size business, or are you trying to scale this up? What are the plans for you?
Well, I do have like the usual like daydream, like, oh, I could get a warehouse and do this, and I can do X, Y, Z. But I don't think I've got the. I don't know. I think I could do it, but it would mean a lot of work for a lot of years, and I think I'd rather get there gradually instead of really pushing it to the point where I'm breaking just to kind of survive. And I think, yeah, I don't know. I think keep going. Try, because eBay is my 9-5. Like reselling is my 9-5, but it's not the only thing that I do. So it's I've kind of taken my foot off the pedal on eBay a little bit, and I've been focusing on other things. That's probably why my sales haven't been amazing this year. But it's allowing me to. eBay's allowed me to do other things in my spare time a lot easier than a regular 9-5 job would. So I think possibly just keep going as I am at the moment, just trying to build up the other things so they bring in enough income so I can focus on eBay a little bit more.
Sorry, I was trying so hard not to cough. It's a particularly cough that keeps coming back. Yeah, it's interesting hearing you say that, because we're in a position where we're not trying to scale anymore. We've kind of been there and done that. And that I feel like people get so funny with me when I'm saying, I don't want to be bigger, better, and more. That's not the objective anymore.
Yeah.
It's to be comfortable and enjoy what we're doing. What about the social media side? Are you planning to keep on churning out the content and enjoying it as you go?
I think so. I mean, I do like deep dive. Occasionally, I do like a deep dive into certain products and stuff like that. I really love doing that kind of stuff because I'm learning while I'm doing it. And I've got a whole list of stuff. I've even filmed it and I just haven't edited it yet. And that's been since like, I think it's been since like I did loads in November and literally they've been sat in my storage thing for ages. So I haven't really edited it. So if I do have content, I just don't do it every day. I don't know how people do it daily. Lex and Ricky, I'm just like, how do you do it daily? I haven't got the patience. I'm just like, oh, bothered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'll carry on. I'm just my social media and my like YouTube channel. It's not massive, but I kind of like that it's growing very slowly, and it's very kind of like taking little steps forward because it feels very manageable. And I'm managing other people's expectations. They know after watching me for a while, like, oh, he's not going to post every day. That's fine. He'll just post a random vlog in France and then one in like Widnes. That's fine. I think that's how I like to be.
Speaking of which, I have already put your YouTube and Instagram links below so people can go over and give you some support. So if you're watching live, do that now. Shortly, we're going to wrap up with words of wisdom, but please go over and sub to George and follow on Insta. Yeah, I've run out of questions and everything, so I think we're at the end.
More ideas for the Reselling Festival. Rock the Boot.
That's good. I think I saw Tat Fest as well.
Tat in the Park.
Tat in the Park, that's a good one.
Where was Tat Fest? I missed that.
Is there an AI editor?
Must have
I'm
missed
sure
that somewhere.
There probably is a program you can get that will AI edit your videos, but I couldn't give away that control. Yeah.
No, because the AI when the pictures when you ask it something, it sometimes blends them really weirdly. So can you imagine if it like edits it out of sync and it's like, no, I'm a bit of a megalomaniac. I'd like control over my own videos. Thank you. AI scares me.
Kathy says, did you see the finish line quiz on BBC One with a woman who said she was Depeche Mode's greatest fan? We watched it all saying, no, you're not.
I didn't see that. What is that? The finish line?
Finish line.
We're going to have to look that up now. Huh. I'm big into quizzes. I'm surprised I've not heard of that.
Yeah. C. Blaney has kicked us off with words of wisdom.
Oh, here we go.
For good luck, always remember to rub your Buddha's belly.
There we go.
We do have a little Buddha in our hallway, don't we?
We do, yeah. You'll have to start rubbing his belly every now and then.
Well, once you start, you can't stop, apparently.
That's it.
Right. Anyone else?
When you go to Germany, please film. Yes, I will, Nesta. Don't worry. I'm going to Germany at the end of the month to see Adele.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
Well,
Ellen's going next year to Berlin to see 21 Pilots. No, she's going on her own.
She went to Berlin a couple of years back as well,
Yeah,
didn't
she
she?
went with a friend and our friend.
Yeah.
Berlin is a wild ride.
I'd love to go.
Yeah, I know. It slightly concerns me she's going on her own, but
People are enjoying your travel vlogs, Drifting being there.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been meaning to look at Opus Clip. You can drop like a YouTube video and it'll pull out little shorts ready for Instagram or
because that would be really useful.
TikTok or whatever.
Yeah.
How does it know? Oh, that's just weird. It's AI.
I don't know. I know. I keep meaning to try it and I've never got around to it. Peter, hello. Nothing that's worthwhile is never easy. Remember that in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Oh, Tom's in with some wisdom. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you rush, you often fumble. If you go slow and steady, everything lines up a little better and you make more ground. Slow and steady.
Wins the race.
Okay. You don't have to save me. You just have to hold my hand while I save myself.
Oh, wow.
Don't get deep on me. You've set me
so
up.
good. That's so good, Will.
Oh, man. Luck happens when preparation meets opportunity. And I would add, and hard work. The luckiest people I also work really hard, right? And make their own luck. It used to make me laugh when I'd share some amazing find I'd got at car boot sale, and people would go, "Oh, you're just so lucky every week." And I'm thinking, I spent nearly 8 hours going around 4 boot sales. There's the luck.
Yeah. You can hit one and then just get an incredible amount of stuff. And then you can hit like one of the biggest ones near me. I got nothing. The second one I got most from. It was weird.
Or you could go charity shopping for nearly a whole day and find virtually nothing in a stupid challenge.
For this
Sorry.
You're not frustrated at all, are you?
Oh, I so am. Tommy, there's Tommy. Sorry, I called your challenge stupid. It's only stupid because I'm failing miserably. Tired eyes rarely see a bright future. Oh, that's good.
That's a nice one.
Wow.
That's a good one. That sounds like something like what Whitman would say or something, or Blake would say. That's nice, that.
Yeah. It's kind of the same as always, things look better in the morning.
Yeah. And it is really true, because when you're tired, you just really struggle to think positively.
And you know why as well? Because when you dream, you sort all of that worry out
Yeah.
in your head. Then you wake up and you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oh, we've got some more. Do you want to read a couple?
Yeah. Ross says, not all that glitters is gold, and not all that those who wander are lost. Used before, but George is a Lord of the Rings fan, and it's a brilliant quote.
That's a lovely quote. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not a words of wisdom, but Stephen is saying that the people in Berlin were so friendly and helpful when he was there.
I found the word too.
Lainey says, I'm not going to continue knocking that old door that doesn't open for me. I'm going to create my own door and walk through that. Oh, yes. I like that. Creating your own door.
Sorry about that.
And Tommy says, you create your own luck. You
Exactly
do,
that.
Indeed.
Exactly.
You do indeed. Resell anything. The only person stopping you is you. And Porky says, in your life, expect some trouble when you worry. You make it. Expect some trouble when you worry. Make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Be happy now.
Do you remember that song? Or who's it?
Don't worry.
Who was that? Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah.
Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah.
Right. So, did you see one that stood out to you, George?
That one about the hat of the helping hand. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
That was so good.
Where was that?
That was near the beginning, that one.
Yeah. Here we go. Will. There we go. We'll end with Will's. You don't have to save me. You just have to hold my hand while I save myself.
That's so good. I love that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Well, there we go. Thank you so much, George. Appreciate that.
That's fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And please do use the links. Go over and show George some love on his social media, which is what we've been talking about for the last hour. And can we expect a video out soon? Have you got something in the works?
I released one this morning, but there's one coming on Tuesday, and it's basically just a sales report of like what's sold and how bad I'm doing, or how well I'm doing. I don't know yet. On Tuesday, that's coming on Tuesday. So yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
Right.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thanks for your words of wisdom, and we will be back. I can't talk now. It's gone. We'll be back next week with another guest, right?
Hang on.
Is next week a week off? Can't remember.
No, we will be back next week with another guest.
Oh yes, I remember who now.
Yes.
Should we keep it secret?
Well, we don't have to.
We will. There you go. The air of mystery. So, cheers, George. We will let you go there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.